So user testing. This was a super fun part of this whole project. It was nice to see all of our thoughts and ideas come together, but then a very humbling experience when interacting with people. Um, so starting us off, why did we choose this method to test our prototype? That is going out into the world with our posters and interacting with the public.
I think with the first one we built, so the 3D model or the kind of card deck model we had, it was very easy to watch people do this in real time, and kind of troubleshoot based on their thought process or what questions they had. And I think it kind of tested our fundamental logic in our steel manning framework without that distraction of technology. And then with the beta walkthrough with Ollie, we kind of had users interact with Ollie while thinking out loud or describing their cognitive reaction to Ollie's coaching in real time. And for me, I found that kind of interesting to see, what people wanted to click on, what draw them to some certain part of the page. Their reaction when seeing the prompts pop up in real time as well.
Yeah, especially like you can tell like they're accustomed to certain user interfaces online, and we're trying to use the same gestures to click on like the icons to take you to the homepage and that kind of thing, and then having problems. That was super fun to see.
Trying to make it more intuitive.
Yeah.
Okay. So on to our second question. What were we hoping to learn that would meaningfully shape our next iteration?
Yeah, and it's back to that kind of user experience. We're hoping to see this magic circle, this safety space for users to interact with opposing views at work. We're hoping to have them really test the intuitiveness of the model based on first interacting with the survey to decide their political leanings, and then being able to flow from that into the prompt setting, interact with the prompt setting correctly, which we found people couldn't do even that, and then making it more intuitive with like next buttons or obvious continue buttons. And then we learned that our human brains itch for reward and achievement, which led us into this whole idea of having awards built into the system along with your score. We also kind of were hoping that the next iteration would be cleaner, simpler, that there will be a better tone, a better clarity, and that we were constantly lowering the safety threshold, that people were feeling more safe, more willing to engage with each improvement that we made. And again, the look and feel of it did a whole lot of the difference, especially having a persona as cute as Ollie to be the thing they were interacting with, had a lot to do with that. And so we were hoping for all of those things to happen, and they did. And I mean, they really did. We were able to see and make those improvements as soon as they were brought to our attention.
So kind of on that, what risk or like concerns, ethical considerations came up in preparing for and testing, like kind of during testing?
Yeah, I had one person, after engaging with the online interface, were saying, I didn't like how this prompt was framed. I hate this sentence. It made me feel so much anger. And in as much as that is the point, to be challenged, really be challenged in your ideals, it was interesting to see that this person was not turned off completely, but was certainly not willing to engage again with the same prompt. And so that just brought to our attention how tone is so important and language is important, trying to remain as neutral as possible, to not just aggravate our users, but to fruitfully allow them to engage in a non-contentious way and in a way that allows their perspective to be broadened and enlightened. Another risk that we have is this idea of validation, that our users can successfully kind of go through our online interface and map that onto a real world setting. So you interact with Ollie and it's super fun, super good, super easy, but can you then go talk to your dad or your brother or an uncle over the Thanksgiving table and not get into a fist fight? That is kind of the concern. The main risk is that it's not transferable. And the only way we can see that is by testing continually with multiple people and growing to scale over time. And then this is less of a risk, but still one, is the risk of re-traumatization. That if a certain issue or prompt is related to a current issue in the news cycle of the day, it can cause people to relive those experiences of trauma, especially if they have been deeply involved with it. And we don't want that to happen. We're not hoping that this is a tool to cause people grief at all, but to lower their grief and lower their anxiety, so when they are confronted with these issues in the real world, they're more capable of maneuvering them. And so, as far as ethics go, we're hoping that the language isn't, doesn't ostracize a certain group because it's not accessible enough, especially for our rural community members or those outside of a college campus. We'd like it to be scalable to, extend into our communities. And so that is a major consideration as far as ethics go. And then again, ensuring that we are accurate, we're fact-checked, and the values that Ollie or the AI system is built on remains neutral.